Yes, I've been to Austin, Houston. I'd say, I guess, the different types of lesbians. It's so different. I can't really explain it, but yeah.
Yeah. Have you noticed a difference in their pride events?
Yes, the advertisement. It's way better than San Antonio's.
Queer culture in other cities is more like a community versus like here in San Antonio. I felt that it's more like targeted, very divisive here in San Antonio. That I've realized also, and when I've gone to like Austin and Dallas or like Houston, it is all very kind of separated. Like a lot of people are in their own cliques, but when I've been to like LA, for example, and I had that experience with like just some random person telling me like, hey, you should go get vaccinated, really showed me that like it's just the culture of it all is just completely different. Same thing in Denver. It was around the time where it was COVID, and I had booked this ski trip, and these are all majority like blue states that I've visited. So like LA, Denver, New York. It's just the sense of community that you have there is completely different from like red state, like Texas. Like it's not just here in San Antonio that I've seen this. I've also seen this like in Austin, Dallas, and Houston that I've visited, and like a lot of my friends that have moved there have told me the exact same thing.
Talked about some other cities, Athens and Atlanta. I also went to San Francisco Pride last year, and obviously San Francisco has a very long history of queer culture, so obviously they're going to have a better gay scene. But overall, the city, there were just rainbows everywhere. There was just so many posters and programs and statues and so many different things that were dedicated visibly in plain sight to queer life. I would love to see more of that in San Antonio outside of just the gay strip and the typically gay areas. I also have been to Atlanta's Pride, which is very big and successful. I think maybe one of the reasons that San Antonio Pride isn't as big is that it competes with so many other prides. It's the same week as New York, LA, San Francisco, Houston, all the really big ones. I think Atlanta does a really smart play at putting their pride in October. So it's not competing with any other cities, and it's not so hot. So I think that would be really smart if Texas considered putting Pride in a different month. Still celebrating Pride during June, of course, but putting the parade, the festival, in a cooler month.
One of the things I noticed is anytime we go out, we're going to gay bars. It's mainly just gay men. There's no lesbian bars here, so I wish they had a lot more lesbian bars here.
Me too.
Personally, it's frustrating because I feel like, I don't know, either I don't present myself as like, or I don't know if I don't present myself as like queer enough, or like it's hard to tell, especially for like women when it comes to like being bisexual or lesbian, or considering how friendly women naturally are towards each other. Like you can't tell if like, can I hit on them? Are they hitting on me? Like, is there a line that I can possibly cross here? Yeah. Lesbian bars. We need more lesbian bars. I've heard rumors about one opening up, but like just in general, more like women queer like spaces, like that would be so great.
There are no lesbian bars. The vast majority of people who go out to the gay strip are men, and while the queer community is typically much more accepting than just standard straight society, that does not mean that misogyny does not exist within our spaces. Misogyny definitely exists. You'll definitely see gay men kind of not acknowledging a lot of women. Another thing is if you're femme presenting like me and a lot of my friends, they'll just automatically assume that you're just a straight girl there to have fun and like interrupting their space. And it's like, no, we belong here too. Just because we're feminine does not mean we're any less queer than you are. And we belong here. We're not taking over your space. We're participating in our space. But overall, I do still frequent these places with my friends. There's drag shows, music, taco trucks. It's just a really great time.
It definitely worries me in the sense of like, maybe not me directly, but like my trans friends, for example,
Right.
like, you know, that definitely like makes me like worry about them, or like if I ever plan to have like children, or like right now my siblings that are growing up and like they're young and they're in the public school system and they won't have access to that kind of education, and like it's like really worrying because it's really important for them to, you know these things. So
I would say yes. I've had a few experiences outside of San Antonio. When I went to LA to go visit my sister, it was kind of around the time during like monkeypox. And here in San Antonio, I tried to get a vaccine, and it took me, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks to like even get an appointment. And so I went to LA, and it was such a culture shock because I got on Grindr and somebody had asked me, are you vaccinated? And I said, I'm trying. Like out there in San Antonio, it's just really hard to get. And the guy that I was talking to said, there's like a pop-up stand like right across the
Wow.
street from where I live. If you want to just like come over, and then like you could go get it, and then whatever, we can like hang out. And I said, are you serious? Like just like a little pop-up. And so coincident, like sure enough, we went. They gave me like a flyer of like all the like location around the city that you could just walk up and grab your vaccine. And I can't imagine that it's not coincidental that that those are blue states and this is a red state. And this new legislation is just going to be more, in my opinion, divisive. And even within our own community, I went on a date and somebody said, I asked him like, are you a Republican? And he said, I'm a conservative Republican. And I said, why? Like, and the topic of trans people was brought up, and he said that he thought that trans people shouldn't even be part of the like LGBT community. And I said, they are like one of the leading factors of why we have rights as gay people nowadays. Like some of the leading voices like Marsha P. Johnson and Stonewall, and like they were all trans women, and the fact that we're trying to like erase them because of your political beliefs, for me, I just found that very it was like you're going against your own people. Like these people are your people, and we are who we should be relying on. And so this like new anti-trans like legislation, they have some support from gay people, which is incredibly sad. But it is like something that I've noticed, like red states, they are very they're very like against their own kind, and I feel like it's really sad.
You would have asked me 2 years ago, I'd say, no, I'm not too worried about, losing my rights, because, like my right to marry, because, it's a Supreme Court ruling. And then Roe v. Wade was overturned. And now I feel like literally anything had happened. Obviously, that was a huge attack on women. It would not surprise me if they try to attack other marginalized groups. I mean, they are attacking other marginalized groups. So I am worried about what that means for me in the future, if I will still be able to get married in Texas, if I will have proper access to adoption or IVF, certain health care. I'm worried about my trans friends who just are being demonized left and right by right-wing politicians in this state, and it just seems so backwards. We've taken so many steps forward. It is terrible to fall backwards. So I would say the trans legislation worries me the most because it's the most aggressive. And even though it doesn't impact me personally, anything that impacts members of our community impacts everyone, as we all need to stand together and practice solidarity. Overall, I really love being queer in San Antonio. There are definitely some things that I would change, including, you know, just I wish the legislation, the whole political stance was better. I wish we had a lesbian bar. And I wish San Antonio would either do a better job at promoting their Pride Festival or moving it to a different time when it's not so hot and it doesn't have to compete with other big cities. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.